And welcome to Friday's Ask the Expert interview with PWN. I'm Marion Gellatly. I'm PWN's Vice President. I'm an image and wardrobe coach, and I'm a speaker with Powerful Presence. I'm your host each. Okay. Excuse me here. Something is going wrong with our. All right, well, I'm going to continue on because Facebook every week changes something. So anyway, I apologize, Ricelli. Anyway, I am your host each Friday at 12:30 p.m. Pacific time right here on the Powerful Business Connections page. It's powered by PWN. And today I'm pleased to welcome our guest expert, a relatively new member of PWN, Ricelli Mordecai. And her company is Sales Booster Solution. Now, I think it's very interesting because Ricelli came to the U.S. she was born in Rio de Janeiro and came to the U.S. after college. She's a wife, she's a mother, and she's an author of the book, What Dog Am I? A book that I really have enjoyed reading and taking to heart, quite frankly. It's about personality assessment, but she's also an empowerment coach. She understands, or she works with teams both in the corporate world as well as individuals. And the idea is that she wants to drive performance through the understanding of personality types and communication techniques. So her current list of clients goes from CEOs who want to increase results and sales by their team, and individuals like ourselves who want to become our own best version. So welcome, Ricelli. Great to have you here today.
Thank you so much. I'm so pumped for this opportunity.
Wonderful. Well, listen, I just want to tell everybody, if you've got a question for Ricelli, make sure you go ahead and put it into the chat, or not the chat, I should say, put it into the comments area so that I can watch for it and see. I just want to make sure that I can see. So far, I'm not able, oh, there we go. I am able to see it. So ask away any of the questions that you have for Ricelli, and we'll get them answered for you. If you're watching this on replay, make sure you put the hashtag replay in the comments so that we know that you have been here. So Ricelli, I think, what led you to write this book?
Well, that's such a that's a loaded question, which comes with a loaded answer. So let's kind of simplify that. I have always been fascinated with people and what drives people. I'm the oldest of three. We're all born within 3 years, same set of parents, same life circumstances, but we all behaved very differently. My youngest brother was fun and energetic, full of friends. My middle brother was the A+ student, and I was neither. And I'm like, what's wrong with me? So I started therapy in my 20s because of a crisis in my life. And then my husband went on to study psychology. And we became, at that same time, we were like newlywed couple trying to figure out who we are and what empowers us. And after years of research, because I was able to pinpoint people, you know, you're an A, you're a B, you're a C, you're a D kind of thing. One day I woke up with this concept, and the idea was, study those 4 breeds of dogs, study their energy, their behavior, you understand people. So it didn't take long for the book to be written, but the book was a result of years of observation and self-reflection on what makes people go and perform versus what makes people feel stuck within their lives and their relationships and their communication as well.
Wonderful. So I have just found working through the book with you, because you did a training for PWN, was so valuable. And I think as a board member, it's really helped me understand other people that are on the board and how they like to communicate and what their personalities are. So thank you for that very much. But you talk about emotional fuel. And what does that mean? What does emotional fuel mean?
That's awesome. So when we think about fuel, we think something we put in our car and makes our car drive, right? And what are the fuels that we know out there for vehicles? We have gasoline, we have ethanol, we have Like in Brazil, we have natural gas that we put into cars. And if you don't have the fuel, it doesn't matter whether you drive a Ferrari or a truck. If you don't put the fuel, the car is stuck, right? But if you also put the wrong fuel, you break down the car. So when I think of individuals, I think of what makes an individual have a drive versus another individual that seems to be stuck in life. That's why when we analyze personalities, we look at the fuel of each individual. A mentor of mine once said, let whatever motivate you to go towards success, right? But success itself means different things for different people. So what motivates me and what makes me go, what makes me get up in the morning and be productive might be the opposite of what motivates you, Marion. Mm-hmm. So if you're stuck and you come to me and say, and I can actually say that because my secondary is your primary and your primary is my secondary. But if you were to come to me for your fuel, and if I were to give you my recipe of what gets me pumped up, it will most likely break you down. So emotional fuel is goes back to the core motivators of who you are to increase your own performance. Once we are fueled, then we can learn of techniques of how to find that in other people. And as we need to engage with our clients, with our spouses, with our family members, with whoever, by identifying that fuel within them, we can give them that fuel in our communication, in our language, in order to get people to be more productive and increase our agreement gaining.
Yeah. It all makes so much sense. It really does. And what I love about your book is you have taken this, there are many personality tests out there, and you have taken it and condensed it down to really simplify it and make it so easy to understand, because you can just picture those dogs and then you can picture yourself right along with it. So I've really enjoyed it. You often say that there's a link between one's ability to communicate a message and to make a sale. So what do you mean by that?
Well, when I look at sales, and maybe it's because I've been in sales since I was 10 years old, but when I look in, when I think about sales, I think of any interaction that I have with somebody where I have a clear objective and I want to drive some kind of result, right? So if a person is not good about communicating their message, they're not able to sell their message, which means that they don't get buy-ins. And whether, like, for example, with my son, with homeschool, right, on Zoom, I need to get his buy-in that's what he has to do, or I need to get a buy-in from a client that I'm the right professional that they want. We are selling ourselves all day long to a multitude of people. When we say good morning to a neighbor and we don't hear that person saying good morning back to us, we're like, how rude, right? We didn't get a buy-in. We were not able to communicate and sell our message in a way that will give us an agreement back, right? So there's a direct link between your ability to sell your product and services and your ability to sell yourself on a conversation with your family members when you're trying to get your kid to make his bed in the morning or whatever the case might be. So when people start looking at sales from this perspective, from the perspective of sales is any conversation that I have with somebody where I have a purpose for that conversation and I want to drive some results, and then understanding that in order to better collaborate with people and drive results, I need to understand what truly motivates them so I can give them that emotional fuel. Until we're able to put those pieces together, we might be lacking results because we're not good at communicating at the level that our prospect receives that communication.
I have to say that it just makes so much sense to me. And I hope everybody else that's listening and watching will get your book, because it's an easy read. It's very quick. It's very to the point. And I want to know a couple of things. Number one, where can people find your book? And number two, if they want to work with you individually on this, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, let's take a step back just for 1 second. Why would people even want to take that test when there are millions of personality tests out there? There are always deeper ways to understand things. But if you can't connect them right away, and if they're not user friendly, it just becomes something that you took one time in a class or a book that you read or a class that you took, but you can't really use it. So the idea of what dog am I is, again, 4 breeds of dogs: the Doberman, the German Shepherd, the Labrador, and the Saint Bernard. Their energy, their behavior, and how to identify that in ourselves and in others. So that is the first thing that I get pumped every time that people ask me, should I read this book or engage with you? People can find my book on Amazon Prime. Sorry, not Amazon Prime, Amazon Kindle. So if you search, if you go into your Amazon account and you type "what dog am I?" space Kindle, you will find the digital copy of my book.
Wonderful. Perfect.
And if people want to have the hard copy, all they have to do is message me, because the hard copies are available directly with my office now.
Yes. All right. Wonderful. So I'm going to ask Ricelli to go in after our interview and go ahead and put how you can contact her directly if you'd like to. She is a PWN member and you want to get to know her and maybe even have just a virtual coffee with her and have a chat. So thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And I'll be back next week with PWN member Wendy Brickman of Brickman Marketing. Wendy has been a pillar of public relations for premier companies on the Monterey Peninsula for 30 years. And she's going to tell us about her marketing firm and what she thinks is important to success in business. You won't want to miss it. And by the way, if you're a PWN member and would like to be a Friday guest expert, please direct message me. I'd love to get you on our June schedule. And I want to thank you again, Ricelli, and I want to thank all the PWN members who will be watching this interview. And I look forward to seeing you again soon, next Friday. And in the meantime, have a wonderful weekend. Thanks so much. Bye-bye now.